Seeing her for the first time at a friend's party, Nicholas lost his head. A slender beauty with enchanting smart eyes and a smile that made one's head spin. "Who's that woman?" Nicholas asked his friend. "You mean Charlotte?" His friend laughed. "Here we go again, another victim of her unearthly beauty. Come on, I'll introduce you to. Charlotte, meet our tail nanny." "What's a tail nanny?" Charlotte asked with a smile. "They call me that because I'm a vet. Do you treat cows?" The woman rolled her eyes in surprise. "Cows live on farms. I treat dogs, cats, and hamsters. I even had a chance to treat a lemur for pneumonia." "Oh, that's so interesting. Tell me about it." Nicholas was on cloud nine, unable to believe he could interest a woman like Charlotte. She didn't let Nicholas take her home, but 3 days later, she called the man herself. "Hey, where have you been?" The playful notes in her voice made the man's heart start racing. 2 months later, the two of them had moved in together. Having fallen head over heels for Charlotte, Nicholas soon proposed to her. The young couple got married quietly, not even telling their friends and relatives. And instead of a big celebration, the woman asked for a diamond engagement ring. Of course, Nicholas was ready to do anything for his beloved. Given her beauty, the man was ready to get a star from the sky for her. Then came the requests to buy a new phone, the latest one on the market, an expensive handbag, and perfume. The man never said no to his young wife, disappearing at work until late at night and making house calls way past working hours. And when the exhausted man came home, he didn't always find Charlotte there. "Well, she's young. She wants to go clubbing with her friends, and I spend all my time at work," Nicholas tried to justify his wife's behavior. A year later, Charlotte got pregnant. This news would have made Nicholas beyond happy. He has long dreamed of having a child and has long imagined himself as a father, especially when he came across small children on the street. Unfortunately, Nicholas only found out about Charlotte's pregnancy when it was already too late. "I had an abortion, and I don't regret it one bit. I'm young and beautiful. Why would I want to burden myself with dirty diapers, baby snot, and sleepless nights? I haven't had my fun yet, and my life's great right now, at least while my hubby fulfills my every whim." This was the conversation Nicholas heard his wife having on the phone with her friend when he returned home earlier than usual one day. The man felt as if the ground disappeared under his feet and his head went dizzy. The woman he loved just turned into a real monster for him. The man told Charlotte to get out of the house, and he filed for divorce. He had never felt so sad and betrayed in his life. In one instant, Nicholas lost his wife and his unborn child, and even more so, his will to live. At first, the man used alcohol to dull the pain, but then he realized that it couldn't go on like that forever. He needed to do something about his life, and fast. Nicholas sold his place, changed his phone number, and moved further from the city, where every step reminded him of his broken heart. He settled in a small village and started his life from scratch. The man didn't have a problem finding a job since the skillful hands of the experienced veterinarian were in demand in rural areas too. Months passed. Nicholas was getting more and more comfortable at his new place. He met local residents and their local friends. He liked to take walks in the forest, admire the scenery, and recharge from the energy of untouched nature. During one of such walks, the man found something incredible. There were 3 wolf cubs among the fallen leaves and dry branches on the ground. They were clinging to the lifeless body of their mother. Apparently, the mother wolf was shot by poachers because there was a visible bullet wound in her head. Tail Nanny understood that leaving the pups alone in the forest would mean dooming them to starvation and death. Nicholas couldn't let that happen to the defenseless animals, so he decided to take them home. Thus, a whole gang of wolf pups settled in Nicholas's house. The man took care of them as if they were children. At first, he fed them milk from a bottle, and when the wolf cubs got stronger and bigger, he started taking them on walks in the forest so that the predators would get used to their natural habitat. The animals accepted Nicholas as their leader and skillfully carried out his commands and were overall very obedient. Over time, the man moved Audrey in with him. He met her at a local pharmacy, where Audrey worked as a pharmacist. They liked each other the moment they met, but this time around, Nicholas was much more careful. The man spent a lot of time getting to know her better, and only a year into their relationship did he decide to let her into his heart. and his family. At first, the woman was wary of Nicholas's daily trips to the forest to see the predators, but then she got used to it, as she saw how strong the friendship between the wolves and her husband was. Audrey also grew to love the gray predators, and often brought them fresh meat. They behaved very friendly, each time greeting the couple with joyful whining, always at the same time in the same place. Sometimes they visited their former house in the village, but they never stayed long because they knew that their place was in the forest. Audrey and Nicholas had a baby girl. Finally, the man got everything he ever dreamed of: life near nature, a job he loved, a beautiful wife and daughter. Old wounds healed, and the man was truly happy. Unfortunately, fate had more tests in store for the man. One day, as Nicholas was out shopping, he came across Charlotte. There's no way of knowing how the woman tracked him down, but she was clearly under the influence and was behaving rather strangely and rudely. "Hi, darling," the woman said as she threw herself at Nicholas's neck. "It's been so long, but you haven't changed one bit. I missed you so much. I looked for you everywhere. I asked your friends. I'm sorry, I was being stupid. I didn't appreciate everything you did for me. Can we start over?" "It's too late. You can't change your mind now." Nicholas pushed his ex away. "There's no going back to what we had, and I wouldn't want to anyway. I have an amazing wife and daughter now. You shouldn't have come here. Please leave and never come back." The man turned around proudly, left the store, and headed home. But Charlotte wasn't about to give up. She ran after Nicholas, screaming threats at him. "You can't be happy without me. I don't even have enough money for food, but you're living your best life here and have a new family. I just won't let it go. Mark my words." The woman didn't stop until Nicholas disappeared behind the door of his house, after which she walked away. But a terrible revenge plan was already taking shape in her mind. The man told Audrey about what had happened and tried to calm her down. The woman knew the whole truth about her husband's past relationship. She trusted him and didn't see a reason to worry, especially since none of the locals have seen Charlotte around again. She probably left for the city. However, a week later, all the villagers were horrified by what had happened. That day, Nicholas left for work early in the morning, as he always did. Audrey cleaned the house and decided to get some groceries. The woman put her daughter in a stroller and slowly walked towards the market, enjoying the beautiful weather. The baby was fast asleep, and in order not to wake her, Audrey left the stroller near the store for just a minute. Living in a small village, everyone knows each other well, so the woman didn't think that anything bad could happen. However, when she came out of the store, the stroller with her daughter was gone. What the poor young mother felt in that moment is something one wouldn't wish on an enemy. Audrey rushed to look for her daughter, but there was no trace of her. The woman called her husband, called the police, and raised the alarm around the entire village. Time seemed to be slipping through their fingers, but there were no leads. The police officer talked to Audrey, reproaching her for leaving her child unattended, and it almost seemed as if he was intentionally slowing down the process. All the local residents were questioned to see if any of them noticed anything suspicious. Meanwhile, Charlotte, quietly and successfully, implemented her plan to kidnap Nicholas's child. The awful woman was planning on taking the baby back to the city with her. She was just about to put the car seat with the baby into the car when she was surrounded by a pack of wolves. The animals encircled the stroller, growled, and bared their teeth. Charlotte was so terrified that she jumped into the car and hit the gas. Desperate parents were sitting on the porch of their house after the unsuccessful search. It seemed that Nicholas and Audrey aged in an instant. Suddenly, 3 wolves came into their yard, carrying the car seat with the baby inside. The parents' blood froze in their veins when they saw the predators. Their faithful tailed friends have done the impossible. The animals saved the baby girl from evil Charlotte and returned the child to her parents, safe and sound, placing her right into their hands. The animals remembered human kindness and repaid Nicholas and Audrey for all their help. Ever since then, the young family was no longer in danger, As it turned out, Charlotte was sent to a psychiatric hospital for long-term treatment after the woman was detained for driving under the influence. She also kept complaining that wolves were following her everywhere.